That's right. It's Hot Mike Friday. What up, everybody? What up? What up? What is up with everybody? Appreciate everybody showing up for this Hot Mike Friday. Big shout out to everybody out there in the Shark Tank. Big shout out to all my people on the back street. Y'all know what time it is. Roll them up, get that brew together, sit back, relax, enjoy the show. Let me get my shout outs to my peoples. Big shout out to Bulldog Jones in the house. What up, fam? My man, Melee in the house. What up, fam? The one and only Double M Desbo in the house. Bite down and shake that like button. I see you, fam. My man, Hard and Finished Kennels representing in the Shark Tank tonight. What up, fam? Yo, my man K-Walk in the house. What up, fam? Hey, fellas, again, appreciate everybody for showing up. We've been, we try to get ourselves involved in a lot of different types of conversations, some of the past, some of the, things of the new. And I see a lot of guys, doing a lot of breeding. The times have just changed. And I just always thought, you know what? When we were back there doing our thing, and like when Floyd and Tudor, Lightner, a whole lot of guys, when you came down to dealing with these bulldogs, even Cheryl Powell and somebody even like James Pope, small, just, real small when you think about how big this game was. But just based off the little things that they done, the impact that they had, on the game. Like, for example, my man Sheriff Powell. You can go into Tornado's papers and you're going to find a very important breeding. He was a part of that breeding. Without him, there wouldn't have never been a tornado. And somebody like Pope. Remember, Pope had Abernathy's Shirley. Pope was the one who did that breeding. Them little small things. At the time these guys were doing these things, they were never looking to be, I guess they could never foresee the future of just how important some of the things that they done. I don't think anybody who started in this game would ever think that that was something they were striving for. I think in most cases, everybody was just trying to create the ultimate American Pit Bull Terrier. And when you're trying to do, and that's what your mindset is. Everything that you're doing on your yard and all the moves that you make are always going to be surrounded by, what you're trying to do, not trying to be a legend or nothing. All you're trying to do is create good dogs. And you sit back and you think, how does that keep going? I always felt like, and we've said this plenty of times, we always copy off the people who were mentoring us. Because I don't think, copying off other people was, it was like storage in the game. It wasn't like you was breaking the law or you were breaking any rules. If you see something that work, we do it nowadays. You go back in there and you see something that work and you try to reduplicate it. It's hard to reduplicate something that has already done because you don't have the same ingredients that they had. But if you understand the concept of what they were thinking when they were doing the things that they done, your chance of reduplicating what they done are great. Because somebody else had already done it and they were successful doing it. So if I do it the same way that they did it, probably can't use the same dogs, but when you're choosing, you're trying to use the same caliber of dogs and the concept that they were using in the process to be able to reduplicate that. And I'm gonna tell y'all something. You know, that shit does work. It has been something that we played close to that realm, even early in the game, simply because we were dumb to it. We didn't know nothing. So when you don't know nothing, it's easier for you to just, as you're learning, to just follow along based on, you wouldn't follow somebody who wasn't doing shit. If I wanted to be a Floyd Mayweather, I'm going to take and learn from Floyd Mayweather. He's right there. He's my mentor. You know what I mean? And then guess what? I get a Tank Davis. You know what I'm saying? Because Tank is not like Floyd. They don't fight the same. The attitudes is totally different. But based on a mentor teaching you something and taking your talent and what you're capable of doing and making you great, it still works. And I think these dogs and anything else you do in life basically works the same way. Anybody can put two dogs together. Stone City. Now, I speak on Stone City, Hardcore, Eminem, Abrahams, McNasty. The reason I can speak on them people, I knew them personally. It's not like it's something I read in a book. I knew these people well enough that I've talked to them on plenty of occasions, sat down with them, did things together. Watching the success that they were having, but then you look, as time goes on and you look back on all that, you wasn't thinking like that. During that time period, they wasn't thinking like that. I believe when the Abrahams got Queen, they wasn't thinking like that. I think what they were thinking is, they just got beat by a pepper. I'm going to get something to go come back and smash her ass. And they went and got that something. That's how simple that's exactly basically how that went. And we still talk about the Abrahams and Queen of Hearts to this day. The Floyd Boudreaux. If it don't be for Floyd gathering the knowledge that he got from the people before him, because Floyd Maurice, I always thought Floyd learned from Maurice. Now they might have did a lot of things different, because the journey, that's what you have to do to make it yours, and you will learn that along the way. But in that beginning process, he had a starting point. Maurice was a starting point. Think about Maurice and Earl and Leitner. All them guys, when they were doing this, they was putting in the work, checking the results like mad scientists. So the legacy part never really dawns on them or dawns on anybody until years later. And the thing, what makes the legacy so not self-proclaimed, because I don't think legacies are self-proclaimed. I think legacies are something that were created that wound up being something worthy of talking about. It was different from what everybody else was doing at the time. And over the years, you could always refer back to bang. And I think as we move along into the future with these dogs, it's almost like we have to create a new legacy type of situation. You know what I mean? The dogs is what made this American Pit Bull Terrier, you know, that little part of history that when you talk about a pit bull, you know, bite like a pit bull, game as hell like a pit bull. I mean, all those little sayings, all that leads comes from a legacy that over the years that was associated with these type of dogs. Y'all see where I'm coming from? Let's see who else I got in here. Hold on. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself and leave anybody out here. Big shout out to BTP Kennels in the house. What up, fam? The one and only long time supporter, my main man, Mr. Dickie Foster in the house. Yo, my man, Ron King. I see you, fam. See, tonight, my man Mo, I always set this situation up, and I'm going to let him run with it. But I hear so many people, and I follow everybody, and I listen to a lot of conversations. And I know there's a lot of guys out there who are new to this. Even some of my old schoolers come back and, if they don't do anything, they just want to have something good on the yard. Been out years, but you know what? With things the way they are, they already have the knowledge and the talent to be, good at what they do because they've done it before. The problem is you don't have the same ingredients that you had in the past. You have the knowledge, but you don't have the same ingredients. And see, that's the part that is important in becoming or creating a legacy dealing with these dogs, because if you don't have the ingredients, you might have the knowledge, but without the ingredients, you might not, or you may not ever be able to recreate something that you did in the past. And I think that's important for all the young guys, and again, everybody, you get out here and you get your YouTube channels and you have the conversations, which is cool, but it's about what can you bring to the conversation. See, I try to make sure our conversations are going to lead to some type of knowledge to help somebody. Can't help everybody, but you might be able to help somebody because you have the experience, you have the knowledge, you have a blueprint, you have a foundation. You've done it before. You know what it looks like. And it's easier for you to have those conversations and be able to be yourself. You don't have to brag about yourself. I mean, if you just be yourself, your accomplishments will speak for itself. Because Floyd really doesn't have to say anything. Tudor didn't have to say anything. Stone City, Hardcore, Eminem, Abrahams, they really didn't have to say much about anything. But when they talked, they didn't talk like they was all that. And I'm talking from my personal experience with them. They talked with knowledge of sharing, of what got them to do to some of the things that they did, some of the things that they saw, why they did what they did. Those things was the most important things that I think we got out of our experience dealing with these bulldogs. Being able to have those conversations and then being able to take bits and pieces from everybody. And along the way, you find so much that they all had in common. You see what I'm saying? They have in common, but they didn't do all these things the same way. Conversation sounded the same, But how they got to where they got to was a little different. And that helped so much when we were trying to establish what we were trying to do. Now, hopefully, you guys, you can. I'm on some medicine right now, so I know it probably look like I'm high as hell because I probably am based off, when they start giving me them opioids, shit get kind of look like my eyes don't look normal. So I'm sitting here looking at myself in the camera. I'm like, Mike, you look high as hell. But nah, I'm on some different type of medicine, and man, it got me feeling loopy. But I'm still here. I'm just crazy because I'm sitting here looking at myself like, damn man, you look high as hell. But back to the conversation. I just happened to look at myself and was like, damn man, you look high. But again, these guys were very hardcore about having good competitive dogs. And it was always them situations where when you're talking to somebody, and especially when you're talking bulldogs, and they don't be high up on themselves, but they be high up on the dogs. When the conversation is different when you high up on a dog, because to them they bred it, and to them they raised it. They gonna box it, and they gonna stand on everything when it was associated with that dog. And so the success of the dog was always going to reflect back on them. But the ride basically starts with the dog. Now, most of them had more than one dog that they could say that about. Just like my people from Super Kennels. They had a lot of competitive dogs. A lot. STP. Lot. Supernat. Fat Bill. See, their dogs are what made them who they are. Their ability to be able to do what they did on a consistent basis. That's not easy, gentlemen. That shit ain't easy. And so I know in the time that they were doing these things, I know they weren't thinking about the legend part or the legacy. They were always thinking about creating the best of the best. They had that competitive attitude about what they did and how they did it. And I thought that was something that we probably lack moving forward simply because we're not really paying close attention to what it's going to look like moving forward. Like in our case, when we first got in, and you're talking about the early 80s, and you had dogs like Snooty and Ironhead, Eli, all those dogs, Bully Son, all those dogs were still around. Dolomite, Luther, Rascal Jr. These were dogs that were still around. Buck, Jeep. The way we look at them dogs now is nowhere near the way we looked at them back there in our time. Because if everybody was really looking like that back in our time, everybody would have been zeroing in on those dogs. The reason I said, let's take Stone City for instance. What they had going on and what made them do what they did to create what they were using. They weren't thinking about beating Buck or that Buck shit ain't nothing. That was not in their mind frame. what was in their mind frame is they got Yellow Buck, and then there's a dog named Mayday out there. Being competitive minded, that's who they want. See, their competitive attitudes is what made them keep going after the best of the best. Because they believed in what they were doing, and these guys created these dogs. It's not like they're going out here. Them guys, they were actually doing their own breedings and putting it all in to do what they did based off of their competitive nature. Remember, they had to first get the breedings, then raise the litter, then school them, then put them out there. All that. And they wasn't mind readers and they couldn't look into the future. But based on what they believed in and on what they did and how they were doing things, this is why we can sit back now and look back on all of that and understand the legacy that they created. Because you can still see their dogs. Same way we can still see the Crenshaws and the Boudreaux we still talk about old ass Tudor and Lightning because you can't get around not talking about those gentlemen based on the legacy of the American Pit Bull Terrier. They are part of that history. And just to know that little things like Abernathy and Pope did together. You know, the little things like Sheriff Powell and Lonzo did together. Them little bitty things created something that when we look back at the dogs and you see them people in there, they're part of that legacy. In the now, when you're looking at these dogs, what do you see? A lot of people, they're taking advantage of the legacy. But the legacy wasn't created based off just the dog's name. Everything that we did moving forward with those dogs, like everything that Stone City did, everything that we did, everything that Mama did, everything that Eminem did, Eminem, all the things that everybody were doing then. They were doing it in the mind frame of creating their own. See, that's the part I'm at. Big shout out to my man, Mr. Dickie Foster, falling through with a 2-piece. As always, Dickie, you the man. You support any and everybody, and you should be the ambassador of all the American Pit Bull podcasts out here, because you support everybody, and I love that about you, man. And that's for real. Big shout out to my man, Mr. William McNeil in the house. Big shout out to my man, John Denbry in the house. What up, fam? And see, the reason that I just wanted to speak on legacy because, I watched all the podcasts and everybody, and we still, in order to see what we doing, what's going on, I still watch first 4 generations. Then I'll click, and I'm gonna go back to watch, see the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8 generations. And I was just thinking, how do you bring all of that talent of them early generations and make them worthy of something to talk about as you're moving forward? And I sat down and I basically, I did my research. I went back and I started looking at everybody else's shit. I went back as far as when we first met Stone City, when we first met Big Mike, when I first met the Abraham, when I first met the McNasty. I went back to the moments and put myself right there from when I met them and where they were at. This is what they were working at. See, Joey was still around when I was dealing with McNasty. Yellow Buck was still living when I met Stone City. You know, Hardcore Mike, he had a whole bunch of everything that was still living. Mile too. You know, a lot of that stuff was still on the ground. But all these years later, I can still see all the dogs that they bred after the fact and how it looked and what it did. And I just realized that, hey, you know what? They never got away from what they was doing from the time that I first met them. They never got away from it. Even when Nico lost to IBM. Do you know that still never stopped Jesse, Stone City and them from their program. They never got turned off of that. And look how many dogs that came down off Nico that we can still talk about today. Even with that loss, they never got away from what they did. It didn't deter them. And the success that they got after the fact. And so those are some of the other things that I look at. Is what made them stick to what they were doing, even when, you know, you have your ups and your downs. Now, Stone City really never got a chance to do all the things that they could have done because Yellow Buck ended up getting killed. But just think if he had lived. Thank God they had just enough on the ground to be able to move forward and do the things that they were doing. But just think about when, at that moment in time, when they still had them dogs on the yard. Or even Mayday and Victor. You know, he was just a champion at the time. Never knew what he would be able to produce, never knew none of that. Never seen none of that coming. But then I think about, okay, look at some of the dogs that Yellow Buck and Mayday beat. Whatever happened to them dogs? Whatever happened to some of them bloodlines? Did people get deterred away from them, you know, when they was taking them headshots? Now, from my personal experience, you know, we laugh about it and we joke about it sometimes, but I've seen people clear their yards behind them losses. I have. And sometimes I would always think that was a bad move. You just ran into a better dog. But that, you know, I never thought that was a reason to clear the whole yard and start over. But I've actually seen it happen a couple times. So when you're looking at how these things happen along the way, see, what I'm trying to do is I'm putting in, not just telling you about the legacy part. I'm trying to explain why the legacy part is so important. Because no one at the time were really thinking about a legacy. They weren't. And I never known any of them to be a fortune teller, but they knew they was fixing to be, you know, play such a big role in this game. Not a one. But keeping that thought in mind, and some of the people that they had losses, because again, it's hard to find anybody who didn't lose anything. And this game consisted of a lot of people that we can talk about, a lot of people who have created a legacy that only way you're ever going to know about them is you got to pick up a book. You know what I'm saying? Because without the book, it's a lot of guys that a lot of us don't even know. I don't know everybody in the damn country. I can't sit here and tell you I knew everybody that was in the game. So that always brought me back to, what made these guys, not just because I knew them, but what made them stand out and be able to carry that ability that I can still talk about them like I talk about Floyd and Tudor and Crenshaw and Tant and Victor. That right there is why I'm looking at the legacy part of this. Because we can talk about the dogs because the dogs are actually what made them. And if you say the dogs made them, then that means they had something keen about what they were doing, that they knew what it took to make those type of dogs. And bringing that back to reality checking, does everybody think like that when it comes to their dogs? Because if they do, and I'm just saying, if they do, being that you're not no fortune teller, you can't look into the future, how confident are you in what you're doing to get to that point, to where your work speaks for itself? See, I don't want to see guys get discouraged or feel like, unless you got a big name or something back there, that you don't know what you're doing or you're not going to have shit. See, back in the day where we come from, when it came to these dogs, the worst thing you could do is say we ain't got shit and you don't have shit. You can talk about we ain't got shit, but then you ain't got shit to put on our shit. That, to me, was always like a dead conversation. If you ain't got shit, why don't you go borrow somebody's shit? Because I'm pretty sure if you're going to go borrow somebody's shit, I hope you're not foolish enough to just think you're going to go get anybody's shit if you think I ain't got shit. Because at that point in time, it's not worth it beating up on your ass. It's just not worth it. That time, in those times, that's how competitive it was. It wasn't like you was always trying to find an easy way out, because back then, for us and the people we were running with, it really wasn't no easy way. It was just basically, for them, they had names and they were still getting on. A lot of the big shows that should have happened, as I noticed throughout being there and watching it, a lot of things that you would have loved to see happen never happened. Them big things like, Yellow Buck and Mayday. We only had a very Buck and Sandman, Jeep and Homer. You would think we would have a whole bunch of them. But back then, your legacy and the dogs that you had prevented people from actually creating those type of things. Their legacy was always in jeopardy, and that's kind of the way I looked at, why some of the things didn't happen when it's not something I'm making up, it's something I actually seen for myself. He got that dog and you got that dog, then there shouldn't be no reason why y'all ain't doing it. Especially when they game. They game to do it, you should be game to do it. But you're not game to do it. Why ain't you game to do it? That ain't like you. Because of the legacy. You got your 5 already. What is it to prove? See, a lot of guys didn't care about that. But then a lot of guys didn't have the name that some of these guys had. And because of those names, some people were eager to go into them. And some people, they weren't eager to let them go into them. They just weren't eager to be like, well, it'd be a good one, but, come up with them excuses and see that when I know you're coming up with an excuse, you can talk all you want about this and that, but the reality of it is, and we know the reality of it, it's obvious. Because Pandy was about that life. May May and 9 Millie, they was about that life. Would have been nice to see the matchups happen. It would have been nice to see Yellow Buck and Mayday, even though I think they was doing the catch weight thing. And me being able to see both the dogs, I mean, that one there, it would just be, for me, it would have been a great show. It just, I always felt like, Mayday he was just that different type of animal compared to Yellow Buck, but I also knew what was going to make it that much of a challenge simply because Yellow Buck was a monster. He was off of Buck, so you can imagine how Buck was. If you knew the story about Buck, you'll understand why I say that about Yellow Buck. Because he was every bit his daddy. Every bit. And the gameness, the destroyer part of him. I mean, everything about that dog would have made that matchup such a great matchup. Now, I'm not trying to be a Mayday man, but, I seen Mayday take some punishment and still come back with that craziness. I seen Yellow Buck do over 2 hours and still come back with that madness. It's those type of things that I be looking at, okay, I know these guys. Those are 2 great dogs. History has already proven not only were they great dogs in the box, they were great producers. Everything about them dogs is why we can talk about them, because that's the legacy that they've created. Just being able to have something like that. Just one. Just imagine you got a couple of them like that. That's why I take my hat off to the living legends like Floyd. That's a living legend right there, man. Regardless of what people might think or what they might say, you can't. His accomplishments that he has dawned on this American Pit Bull Terrier community will outlast my life and some of y'all's. Because younger generation, it's almost like, it's funny to me because I hear people talk about LeBron, but you wasn't around. You don't know people like George Gervin and Dr. J. You don't know what that was like. What you know is what you see now, and for this time, LeBron is y'all better. That's all. But there was a time there was this guy named Jordan. Jordan, Dr. J, George Gervin, and many, many more. I can sit here and name the Magic Johnsons, the Larry Birds, Kukoc. There's so many players that you could put, that these players that I would say compared to the LeBron era and the Kobe era and then the Jordan era and then the Dr. J era, then the Bill Russell era. Those are a whole lot of eras of people who carried a legacy that were, when you talk about them now, there's some people in that new era that wouldn't know nothing about them. Think about how many guys that you could hear and argue about playing football or basketball, and they don't know people like Jim Brown or people like OJ. I mean, if don't be for OJ and his murder trial, but you don't really know nothing about his football career. I mean, I could keep on naming a whole lot of guys that, you know, actually had a very big impact on sports that it's hard to even talk about them because you're not a historian of those things. Unless you're a historian of boxing, basketball, football, swimming, wrestling. I mean, you have to be a historian to have that type of conversation. Because you can't, there's no way you can just talk about LeBron and don't think you talking about Michael Jordan, but how you gonna skip Kobe? I mean, how can you do that? You can't just jump past Kobe and trying to compare LeBron to damn Jordan. When what you forget about Kobe, let's start right there. I lived through all those different eras. I can't see how y'all can jump past Kobe to even be talking about LeBron. I mean, Jordan. I love LeBron to death, but my man is still Kobe Bryant. And that's how my list go down. You know, you can question that all day, but I would still say my goal starts with Michael Jordan, Kobe, then LeBron. That's how it works for me. And it ain't all about championships. It's all about the person and their love of the game and what they were able to do to change the game. Take that same attitude and you bring it back into these dogs. What makes a legacy? Your ability to maintain and be consistent, to have the accolades to show for all that hard work that you put in, that you don't have to talk about it. Other people will. That's where I'm on. Oh, let me get in. I seen something else popped up here. Dickie. Big shout out to my man Borderland Kennels. Breezy in the house, coming in with a two-piece showing that love, fam. Yes, sir. He says, salute twins in the chat. Much love. Borderland in the house. Appreciate that, fam. Hey, man, look. I always told y'all from day one. It's not a matter of how much, you know, you donate to the channel. It's not a matter of how much. It's the fact that these guys, they give from their heart because they don't have to. That's two guys that just gives. And I mean, I appreciate it because regardless of what it is, I'm going to appreciate it. And it's not just because of the money. I appreciate it because somewhere in that moment in your heart, you believe that, you know, I'm going to support this. And that's hard to get people to do nowadays because, you know, we living in a world of everything's supposed to be, you know, like YouTube is free. But I guess I'm like a techie. I mean, I'm at that age now. I done got lazy. I hate sitting in front of the computer. I hate even doing paperwork. I hate everything about my office. 'Cause I've been doing it so long, and at some point, you know, you just kind of be like, ah. But when I watch other channels and see how people, you know, you get out there and you got 1 million views, but they'll have like a million views on something and 100,000 likes. To me, I think that's crazy because I would love to have 500,000 likes with 1 million views than to have 1 million views with only 100,000. And all it takes is that free click. So yeah, I'm gonna always have, you know, that part of my heart that I'm always feel very appreciative for every time that you guys hit the damn like button. Even though you don't have to, but you do. Even though it's free and you don't have to, but you do. I think that deserves appreciation simply because might not be money, but at least you're still supporting it and you're supporting it in the right way. I'm game for all that. I think we should have more of that, because if we can get that part of this thing right, there's so much more that we can all do together, because it's going to be togetherness that's going to get us to where we got to go. So, again, back to what I was saying about the legacy part and understanding moving forward and seeing the direction. I mean, I see a whole lot of breedings going on. But being a historian of this game, I've read a whole lot of books. And another thing, Fat Bill got a lot of good books out there, y'all. I don't keep telling y'all this. There's a lot of good information out there. And I don't understand how you can go back and forth and argue with people about things that you can't change in the past, but then they accolades, the things that they're in them books, that's not going to change, man. You might have a different story, but guess what? You know how books are. It's always going to be seen through the eye of the person who wrote the book. But they're still writing about the same person. So evidently that person was worthy of being spoke about, talked about. That's why I think it's important to support not just the people who write these books, but support yourself based on the better your knowledge is, the more knowledge you have, the better you're going to be, and the more your conversation becomes more real. Big shout out to Royalty Kennels coming in, showing the love with a 5-piece. Salute. Appreciate that, real royalty. We Royalty Kennels coming in with a 5-piece. I really appreciate that, fam. You already know where that come from. From me to you, and that's from the heart. Again, fellas, try to feel me where I'm coming from on this, because we all get around. We all done went and seen the old pedigrees. We talk about the same old guys. But then think about how many guys we don't get a chance to talk about. The ones, as big as this game was, there's some who they never broke that barrier. But like, if you in South Carolina, that's red boy country, yellow country. There's a different conversation in that area. So who's the breakthrough people that we can say shine coming up out of South Carolina? Well, you already know. Just like Ohio. Just like Tennessee. But then I'm talking about states. Now let's break that down to like just the cities. You might be all that in the city, but you can't be, you didn't ever make it to the level that they could talk about you when it came throughout the whole entire state. This game worked in that same format, man. It really did. The great ones, they put a stamp on not just where they was at, but everywhere. And what helps that? Their quality of work, the quality of time. I don't give a damn, because some people can be the worstest kind of people, but when it comes down as far as a person, but you can't knock their accomplishments based on the amount of work and success that they had when it comes down to these dogs. That's why I always felt like, how can y'all move forward if y'all don't have the knowledge and the understanding? Like, there's a lot of guys out here who have a whole lot of history. Some of these guys out here that have the history, and they know this history because they didn't live in that time period. If you didn't live in that time period, that means you did a lot of research. You one of them ones that talked about what, picked up a book and read and got deep into it and looked into those dogs to see what those dogs do. Those kind of people who have that type of information can have a better conversation with a newbie than a person who ain't never picked up the book and can talk about these dogs based on what they heard. And there's a whole lot of them. Because I always felt like if you're going to sit down and talk about your dogs, it's good. It's fine and dandy. Represent your yard. But it's hard to represent your yard when your yard don't have nothing to be represented. When you can pick up a paper and you can represent what's on that paper, but everything that's in that paper, 90% of it somebody did. You just happen to just buy the dog. Your legacy based off of all that good looking shit in that paper starts right there when you got that dog. Now what you gonna do with it? Because this shit back here, it did its part, but then what you bragging on what this part did? What you fixing to do with this animal? What are you fixing to give to the game to make what has been done move forward? Where's that conversation at? Well, you can't really have that conversation simply because it hadn't been done yet. And 90% of the time, fellas, believe it or not, 90% of the time, it don't go nowhere. It don't do shit. You know? So understanding, when I say legacy is something that happens after time. Time. What are you going to do now that where they're going to be talking about something that you did 20 years from now? That's the building of the American Pit Bull Terrier that has been successful and made these dogs successful throughout all these years. All the books, all the stories, all the breedings, all that shit that created the American Pit Bull Terrier community all boiled down to the quality of the dog matched the quality of the man. And that's just a shortcut to the knowledge that I'm trying to speak to you because, again, everybody got bulldogs or you wouldn't be in this room. Everybody be out there in the chat and I see so many people having conversations and things somebody told them and things they remember. All that's fine and dandy. But I always found the success when you took all that knowledge that you have and you did something with it. Where you become the conversation. That's why there's certain people out here, man, that I give much respect to that came after us because they actually took what we did and done something with it to where there's a conversation. You know? That part right to me is basically what I'm talking about. You take it and make it your own. And if you do the right thing, it's going to be your conversation. It ain't got to have not a damn thing to do with us. Yeah, we might be all up in that pedigree, but guess what?
We shining on you.
We shining because of you.
Right.
Like Paul was shining because of Tornado and Kenny. Pope will always shine based on Shirley. Can't take that away from him. There's a lot of people who have that shine, man, that are really implemented into this game. And the only way you will ever understand how much they had to do with that is when you go back and you look at those pedigrees and then you tell yourself you can't change nothing back there, but what can I do now to pick it up to make it mine? And what I'm going to do to make people want to have to talk about it. That's why we speak about the history. That's why we stay in the past. Because in the past, we weren't fortune tellers. And being we couldn't see too much going on into the future, we had to deal with the now for what it was and then move forward. And everything that we did moving forward, when we look back on the past, we have something to show for it. And everybody who has been able to have that experience and live that type of life, they truly understand what it means to be a part of something. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, there's people out here in this chat that I notice in this chat that I know they that real deal. They them people, they're the ones I'm talking about. They right here in this chat. Created a legacy. Very seldom hear talk much about, they share a little bit of knowledge, but in reality, they do have a legacy that they can talk about. Actually, a legacy that y'all talk about. Sometimes I just don't know if y'all know why you're talking. Do you really know what you talk about? Because a person who really knows what they talk about when it comes to certain things, they right here. Right there. And it's not a matter of not knowing. That person ain't never got to say a damn word because guess what? Y'all still going to be talking about they dogs and y'all don't even know it. That's all I'm saying. You don't even know it. But it's the fact that if it don't be for that person, that dog would be irrelevant. That's all. Don't be for the amount of work that he put in it to even make it worth talking about. It wouldn't even matter. So that's the thing, before I turn this over to Mo, that's the thing I wanted to get into as far as understanding and sharing this thing, that we hold so dear, the American Pit Bull Terrier, and the legacy of how and why it's so important to understand the full complexity of the game and the role that you're going to play in it, being that you have dogs. It's not all about breeding dogs and then bragging. I always felt like the dogs could take care of anything that we needed to say. Anything. You know what I'm saying? Whether it was a producer or a box hound or a hog hunting hound or a wall climbing hound, the dog gonna always speak for itself to where you really don't have to say nothing. But the key to what I'm trying to get you guys to understand is follow what I'm saying and try to understand that anything moving in the future is always going to depend on what you do now. Because without that, there might not be a future. That's all. Hey Mo, it's on you, bro. Turn this over to the Bulldog man here. Let me put you in here on line 3. Oh. Hey, you can get in. You'll need your computer. Actually, jump in right there.
What up? What up?
Big shout out to my man Viking Family LG in the house. The Viking World Family, I see you, fam. Styles Kennels in the house. What up, fam?
What's up, fellas?
Robo! I see you, fam. Mr. Jeremy Hunter, what up, fam? Ain't seen you in a while. Appreciate that. Showing up, fam.
See, the family took a ride up there with your fam. The boys from the Act Right went up there and seen Big Bruh. I got that message, fam. I saw you, I heard you. I see. Mike was talking about this legacy thing. He made some very good points. Real good points. I liked the part where he broke it down. Where, into the city, then from the city to the state. Then, you got the cross country runners. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of guys in the history had legacies either based on the line of dogs they've created, a legacy of dog men in the fast lane. And when I say fast lane, I definitely be talking about those guys where history is made, where you know who they are. Because those great matches happen. Like Queen and Pepper. You got dogs out there, man, like Hawk and Bumpy. And then Hawk and Book Book. All them great dogs winning, then losing. That's a legacy. Dog of the year get whooped. Or like when old Dog of the Year Glenn lost. Most guys don't know that the guy to beat Glenn is the same guy had NASCAR, y'all. Won all three of his with him. Same guy. So you already know there's no question and no doubt. You know what I'm saying? Just because it got sold, I was checking out my boy over there at PBK. I be checking him out. I be liking the show. But if I was there and caught him live, I would just put a lot to that story. But NASCAR came from a bad motherfucker. Same bad motherfucker that whooped Glenn, Mr. Dog of the Year, Mr. All Great. Stopped his ass quick. Now to be able to do that, you got to, first of all, how many of you motherfuckers got something on your yard that you would have went after Glenn, period, with the hype that I was hearing coming off the Dougie and them shit. I mean, the man wasn't afraid to go out there and let people brag about his shit. Shit, he had video of himself talking about the shit. So, ain't got to go in no details or say no names. But at the same time, let's not forget, doesn't matter who the person who got the dog is now. His history was made with the man who had him. That's the story. Wouldn't be shit if it don't be for that. So I just wanted to put a little insight because through all the comments I was hearing, I don't think nobody was...
Mic check.
Check one. Tell me where ain't nobody hearing nothing I'm saying, man. Check mic 1, 2. Can y'all hear me? If y'all can hear me, put some thumbs up. You can hear me? Okay. Yeah, I kind of lost my train of thought. But what I was saying was I didn't hear nobody speak up, and I heard I seen all the questionnaire questions like there's a question mark there, and I noticed didn't nobody bring a point up, where it come from, actually come from, or who did him. And then the fact that who did him, who was he, when he did him. He was whooping a whole bunch of ass around here.
I want to give a big shout out to my man, Mr. Ron King, coming in with a 10-piece showing the love. Appreciate the love, fam.
Now, you can tell off the back he wasn't a breeder because he sold him. And most guys that's in that fast lane who ain't in the fast lane to be a Earl Tudor or Reese Carver, they were fast lane. Like same thing I said about Prozac. They was just fast lane guys. Yeah, he might have made a breeding here or there, but he was not a breeder. There was several guys out there that had these great dogs that was just buying them. They bought Barracuda. They didn't really buy Barracuda to breed till later on. They bought Barracuda to win. Gamblers. Y'all about to say they were gamblers. Good gamblers. Shady Days. Look at all them grip dogs Shady Days in them had. They wasn't breeders. They were gamblers. Fast lane. They went in the fast lane dogs. Didn't give a damn who had them. That was this part that I was infatuated with and the part that I ran with. And guys hate to hear me talk about it like that, but that's because you don't have the experience to see what I'm talking about. So just take the ride at the fact that I'm talking about and kind of ride with so you can really get an understanding. That I don't be trying to put you down because you're in a particular circle, you did this and everybody got their local legends, their regional legends, their history making legends. I'm talking about a point in here where I can dive in here and point out these things and the history of these things and what separated these from these. That's all. Not taking nothing away. But for those who's really out there doing the fast lane, I'm going to always keep it real because those were the headhunters. Those was the sharks. Those are the dogs that you see in these pedigrees out here that was really set out there to win. That's how Wacko ran in the Kunta. You got this badass dog, and for some odd reason, the competition is nobody's just going to be somebody out there that's going to try your ass. They always going to feel like they got something for you. Because in that fast lane, it don't matter. That the competition and the level is that high where somebody believe in their shit like that. And they hook it and they make that shit happen. That's legendary shit to me. To be able to do those kind of things and make a difference, and you're not making a difference just to go out there and be able to talk about this shit. It definitely comes a factor where we risk so much to do it. And it usually is the ones who's got so much put into it that it's hard for them to let go because it's their legacy and what they built. Usually those ones right there, make statements. Floyd got his shit robbed. When you take somebody's shit and kill it, it's like taking it and robbing you. Old man Pat Patrick, and then speaking with me thrown in there and many other old dog men who have lost our dogs to these what you call, there's always, I don't know when and where. One does not a when and where and who and how. All this shit is fictional. Without those things right there, there's no evidence or belief or anything but a fictional story. And many times when it's all part of the entertainment anyway, especially when you go out here amongst airways where everybody's watching, it's still fictional. You know what I'm saying? So lay your head back and relax and take that ride so maybe you can get caught up into a point where you don't have to do and take the chances and still understand, the in-depthness of what makes these guys willing to make those chances and take those chances and continue to do so. Those guys end up with a legacy not because they wanted it, not because they want everybody in the world to know. And I don't think it'd be about none of that. It'd be that love for the competition. To have that eye and know you got a badass dog. And willing to put anybody stick their neck out there. I'm coming through there. It's just that. It's, you see UFC and human beings do this. To me, I get the same satisfaction watching humans. But the thing that really trips me out about the humans watching the UFC, you know what I'm saying? This is what really trips me out. They make the true world of dogfighting such a cruel, terrible thing and what's going on with the dogs. But then if you literally watch the UFC and you see how these guys be banging, and if we out there in the street even fighting like that, we going to jail. You think they're going to just pull up and let us continue to bang it out like the UFC? We pay per view that shit. But do that shit on the street, that's supposed to be illegal. They ain't going to pull up and let us go at it like that. You see what I'm saying? But it's the same feeling that, when I was going out here feeding those dogs, and, all I'm looking for is that dog to compete. That's it. Wasn't the breedings? The breedings made a big difference because the breedings is supposed to give me what I hunger for. To be able to get out there, back in there and compete. Get out there and compete. I don't want to sit there and watch everybody else. It's not what I'm feeding all this shit for. I want to play. I want to be a part of that. I built my yard following behind guys that already had it. You don't hear me talking about nothing in particular except for the fact I was the first one to make a man at Stone City Breeding, and I'm going to always be a part of that. Like I always said about my boy James Powell and Tornado, my boys over there with Fatty Girl, who came up with the Screaming Demon shit. These is all things that y'all can go look out there and see for yourself. Major moves that affected and became part of the history in the game. Just so happened I'm sitting here reminding a lot for those who don't know. Not like I'm bragging, I'm just telling you something that's the truth. Those are how legacies is built. There was a whole lot going on after Art and Zebo, you know what I'm saying? And Maurice Carver. Even after Kenny Allen and Two Colors, things was just still things going on, y'all. These big ass gaps that y'all can't fill in. You know what I'm saying? So, my biggest opinion on the legacy is a lot higher than y'all's. Because there's so many factors that was going on back in the time that I was out there and understanding while I was learning. I understood how those guys felt because remember, they was doing something I really wanted to be like them. I wanted to have those kind of dogs. I wanted to, have that coming out between my legs. Doing some shit that I didn't do. And worked and won. That wasn't just an urge, it was a passion. And being a dog trainer who loved training dogs and just understand, why my dogs are so disciplined, because I was disciplined. The way I trained them, is the way, it's supposed to be a representation of what I did in my training. When you're doing that with them bulldogs and you got that mindset of knowing what this dog is willing to do for you, if you do the things that you need to do for him, this thing could work. And being around the people that I was around, and I hate to say it about, some of you get mad when I get to talking about these little circles and things and all that, and get upset when I start hollering the fast lane, because there was a combination of many circles. Many great dog men who were part of them circles who was really living legends being sharks. And then for those who had those special dogs who broke a lot of history by winning over some great dogs who at the time thought could not be beat. A few dog of the years lost. few grand champions, 6, 7-time winners getting stopped. That means there was somebody out there believing they shit to come after their ass. That was what made this so much like the UFC. You know, humans are supposed to be smarter than dogs. And I always say that. They make this look like what dogs were doing back then is cruel, and I'm sitting here looking at two humans doing the same thing that I basically see when I see two dogs. Except for the fact that they ain't biting each other. But the dogs ain't punching the shit out of each other with their fists either. And it's like, what's the difference? And we're supposed to be smarter than the dogs. And for us to have that same passion as a UFC fighter, and we see this in our dogs, we're supposed to be cruel people. Because they think we make our dogs do this shit. We don't make our dogs do shit. Never have had to make these motherfuckers. If anything, we made them, but we didn't have to make them fight. We made them through genetics to do what they was bred to do, and it was the competition that's been in the dark ever since it became illegal. That continued to grow and grow. Mayday was brought up as a famous dog like Frisco and all the rest of them during the time the shit still was illegal. And they wasn't the ones making their dogs so damn great. It was the people out here taking them and winning with them. We don't talk enough about them when we start talking about Frisco, Mayday. None of that shit come off of their damn yard far as they did it. You know what I'm saying? There was so many other people who had the opportunity to be in possession of a competition and dog that they could go out there and make it happen. And you know, guarantee you they got a lot to talk about. They ain't talking about it as old men talking about when they was in the game. You pull they shit right up. They go Frisco right there. Everybody talk about it. Everybody know Frisco is. Got a dog right off on me. I'm one of them points on Frisco's pedigree, on his register of marriage. You know, they might not be able to talk English, but you best believe most of them motherfuckers overseas got a lot of them. And you can't say he wasn't a good one, because there was some good dogs that came up out of him in the United States. So, you know, that put the Mexican and the overseas shit to question. You know, and you cannot say that he is not a continuing line that then withered away like so many other ones have. They've been able to maintain the source of time. So we can get off the Tom Gardner shit, whether we like the man or not. You know, shit, he's the Earl Tudor of y'all time. Y'all better respect that shit. Because guess what? 20 years from now, they will be. If y'all don't carry it up there in the future with you, and the only reason it would not get carried is because you never had the opportunity to possess such an animal that made him such a great dog. And he didn't even do shit. You know, so I wouldn't expect you to be part of a legacy to be able for somebody else 20 years from now to talk about you. And that's where I be at. You know, I ain't trying to get off the damn bus. I'm staying on the bus heading way back there where it's safe to say this shit and keep reminding y'all on a serious note. I ain't gonna come in here trying to be a future man. I ain't going to be a future man. I can't tell y'all what the hell y'all gonna do. But I'm gonna remind y'all so you don't be forgetting. You know, a lot of shit in these dogs has always been illegal, and they still made history. The Kennels who was able to go out there and make them dogs great still made history. We say Mayday, but god dang, Mayday, Southern Kennels won with Mayday. Southern Kennels won with Choice and Dragon Lady. He represented himself, and he made his man a grand champion. He took the run of a lifetime. After all his years of trying with Latin boys and his trying to make it through the game, he was still dedicated to that shit. joint teams and all that other shit. But when Mayday got a hold of Mayday, got a hold of a piece of gold, whether you like it or not. And he made Mayday famous. And how did he make Mayday famous? He made Mayday famous by winning matches. Mayday wasn't even the grand champion when I first bred to him. He wasn't even the grand champion yet. He was the grand champion when I bred to him the second time. But got to remember something. Victor already made that litter famous. Had him an all-win bitch. He didn't produce Mayday. But he ran with the shit. And he had the mama. After everybody else picked over the yard, that's the shit they left. And he got lucky. And he produced some good dogs, and he let a lot of those good dogs get out into the right hands. And you got to understand, to get dogs out that was coming out to take a dog like
Motion
him
detected at the home front.
and blow up like he blew up. Because once Brat hit the scene, you know, we was glad. We didn't even think anybody knew much about the dog. You know, so, you know, one thing for damn sure, Akron, Ohio knew about him because I had Brat.
Motion detected at the home front.
Who Mayday was. I got her and little Mayday smashing. Straight nutcases. You know, a lot of people was giving that credit to Amber. You know, coming off a champion Wrangler. Yeah, that's where they get that crazy from. The way they get that style. Well, you know, that Red Ace was a bad bitch. You know, not knowing that who Mayday was. Not knowing. But then all of a sudden when Mayday's name came out and all these dogs was coming out and all you seen was Mayday dogs being matched every damn where. We talking about the champions, but we never get into the two-time winners and the one-time winners. See, that's a walking legacy in itself. So you're going to have a lot of Mayday haters.
Motion detected.
You're going to have a lot of haters out there who just don't like the Mayday dog. But there is part of the legacy of the game that goes right along with Jeep, right along with Eli, right along with Zebo. We're going to always be able to say Yellow. We're going to always be able to say Mayday. We're going to always be able to say Barracuda. We're going to always be able to say Luke Kane. And, you know, in my good days, with the time that I have left, if you love all them right there, you'll work your way down to me because everybody know who Champion the Brat is. A lot of people don't ever go on hard, but they know for some damn reason they know Champion the Brat was off the Mayday. Yeah, she was probably, I heard she was one of Mayday's first champions. Well, between her and Luke Kane, Brat was the first female if he don't want anything else. And Luke Kane was definitely the first grand champion. And he was on the luxury of having Twisted on the yard with him, who became a champion off of Mayday. That's legacy. You know, the team in the camps that had him. These dogs weren't like that, man. How would STP want them? STP's always grabbing good dogs and making his shit great. We don't know whether STP was ever really a breeder. The one thing we know for damn sure, he sure was matching dogs. There wasn't nobody else running around saying, I'm STP either. And they was matching dogs. And you know, even though we have great breedings, because, you know, when you got great match dogs, everybody in the country still going to be banging on that door trying to breed your shit. All them champions who would be a fool not to, like Windy City. Be a fool not to be up there trying to breed to Hunter Red and all these damn dogs, and that's where they at. You know, that's how everybody was when it came to Mayday. That's how everybody was when it came to Frisco. Those are legacies being built. We say the same thing about Jeep. You got Triple M down there with Smiley. You got Long's Weirdo, Smiley's brother. Who don't know Long's Weirdo. And without us, how many of y'all would have ever really knew about Triple M and Smiley being Long Weirdo's brothers and to be on the upside? That was only a one-man team who did that 17 wins in a row. Off of that one litter. Weirdo ain't never produced no shit like that. Still. You know what I'm saying? No. And when I speak up on these things, and I be pointing them out, it's like roadblock, you know. They weren't no Floyd Boudreaux, but they got a legacy. We know they were fast lane. See what I'm saying? So, y'all want to go into some pedigrees? Let me see me run around. Let's do some shit. And I can take y'all around to some shit and be looking at these dogs. Yeah, they was great. They was great. But what did they produce? Look how many dogs was able to produce like Mayday. But look how many dogs that were able to produce like Yellow. Look at all the dogs that came off of Yellow was able to produce like Yellow. Those is legendary. Those is legacy. Those is bloodlines that you have to discuss. When everybody's screaming Eli and, always doubted the Zebo, but, your food ain't going to taste right unless you got it. You know what I'm saying? We've been through these stories of how Zebo was such a prominent dog and so many great dogs that a lot of y'all didn't even know that. But it's coming from a world of understanding, how deep impact that the fast lane, and you're going to always hear me say it again, the fast lane, it was a part of the game that changed because it made a lot of those down south kennels great. Because they was finally getting a chance to watch these boys, these sharks, getting their hands on the right dogs. And remember, they ain't breeding that shit. They out there buying that shit to do that shit. They ain't trying to find nothing but something to get out there and gamble on. And when the sharks come, they come looking, this is how you had them 5 and 6 and 7 time winners like Fat Bill's, you know what I'm saying? And I always use him as an example because he had a badass bitch. And for her to run into May, man, that's something to talk about to me. Yeah, it can always be something to talk about because that's not like I'm saying that Chi-Chi wasn't shit. How could I be so high on May? You know what I'm saying? Without giving Fat Bill his just about his 7-time winner. She lost, but still. That just shows you what kind of dog May was. Don't take nothing away from Chi-Chi. I'm just telling you, May was a bad bitch. Period. They take it personal, but it's part of the game. You know, if you going your ass up in there, you wouldn't have never found out unless you did it, and he did it. So that's the thing. It's parts of history to talk about. I had no problem talking about it. Not taking nothing away from Fat Bill or his shit. They take that shit personal. But if it was back in our time, we'd be matching some damn dogs. And that's just how it was back then. You think Tom got your ass, you were lucky you had to deal with Brat and Buck Rogers and none of that shit I had. I'd been killing Bo and all your shit. Oh, who you talking to. You don't scared of that kind of shit back in my time with me playing. You wouldn't have ran up on me. I was more dangerous than Tom in there. You think I wasn't? And I remember you saying that, be saying it like it is. I give you respect, but I'm going to still be going hard. I always let it be known. They could have ran up in there and they went for anybody and everybody. I was part of that Shark Tank. I was groomed by the Shark Tank. You know what I'm saying? Groomed. I know what a great dog looked like and I know what it felt like to have one. When you got it like that, yeah, you can bump into some badass dogs out there. But guess what? That's what it's all about. We get the answers we're looking for. We met a lot of people figure that shit out messing with our shit. For me to even sit back and watch the guys who was able to take our dogs and be able to do what they doing with them, you know, that's the same shit that I was doing with the shit that they was doing with their dogs. So it was a proven fact that the shit that we was on was definitely a legacy. Made their legacy grow. Made our legacy grow. And by them doing what they did, they didn't do nothing but pop all everybody up. Because it showed our traits way down there. Ain't too many people can say that about their shit. And I'm trying to put myself in the same shoes and boots like y'all. Because that's exactly where I started from. I just jumped on the right down train. I was on a speedway. Ones that y'all don't like hearing me talk about, that fast track. But there wasn't nobody's shit safe. Yeah, you can make part of history. You could have went to Joey, made part of history. You could have went to Mayday, made part of history. You know what I'm saying? Could have went to us, made part of history. We didn't lose many, but definitely say we didn't lose. We didn't get beat because we have been beat. You know, there's just, you know, there's those major ones, man, where, you know, the upset is such a historical fact to stories, you know what I'm saying? And remember, it's the who know if it's even true. Because we don't know when, we don't know where. You know what I'm saying? It's just a story. And that's how it's always been. There's always been fictional stories without a who, where, and when. You know what I'm saying? And that's how history is made. Through all the illegal shit. It just kept the game strong. Through all the illegal activity to maintain the game and still have those great dogs, even when it was just totally illegal to do. Still be able to maintain the greatness. You know what I'm saying? And still, it's still all fictional. Evidence is worthless. And that's how it should be in your time. Because y'all don't be knowing who, when, and where, and how. It's still the same damn way. You know what I'm saying? It's still the same way. My question is, hey Mike, I asked him a question. I said, y'all want to go run through some pedigrees and see some shit? No, everybody be talking about Tom and his and one of them is I like the Tramp Red Boy dog. Now I don't know why he called the dog that name, but I'm gonna point out that one because for starters. Okay, I'm gonna start off with this one. Like this dog here to me is a dog of the past, and it's clearly of the past, but there's a now to it. You see what I'm saying? Look how he's bred. He's bred from prior greatness. Prior greatness. And then when you look down there, you know, when you look down there and you pull shit up like that right there, make you say, twin funny. Twin funny. No, I ain't funny. I'm showing you how greatness makes greatness. You see this little piece here? This little piece here caused them to go get this piece here. See, when y'all putting pedigrees together, and I see pay attention to that. Because, see, you can't fool the old school. If you're going to have a pedigree, show me some direction. You just pay attention to that right there. That's the very bottom. Look at here. I'm going to go back. See, that's the bottom. So Glory, coming off the red, man. We didn't jump past the old Cunningham shit. We're going to go in here when we first took this bitch right here, and we're going to breed Cherry to old Rusty Rebel. Some old Eli Red Boy shit. See all that, Red Boy? Now, to me, that's like having Yellow John on the yard. You know what I'm saying? Look at it. That's just like having Yellow John. And that's Rebel. That's the top. And he was a 2-time winner. You know why he won? Look at the breedings, y'all. See, that's the difference between my expectations of reading the pedigree, you know what I'm saying, and working that mug all the way up to where I see a future in it now. I can't tell you about the who's and the when's and the where, but I can tell you what it looked like when it looked like it's going to go do something. I can tell you what it looked like when it's getting ready to do something. And I can show you where it looked like it's going to work. Huh. Okay? This is the kind of shit that I be talking about, where it's still making sense in 2019. We getting dogs straight off of this dog here. Yeah, 6 pages. That ain't Mayday. And y'all over there talking about Tom. Tom ain't doing nothing but sitting up there being Tom. He's doing his part. And he don't know no who's, wins, or where's, or nothing. Just being smart. Like he always been. Damn, he had China Man. Then he went and got Frisco. Then he went and got this. Man, it's just, come on, y'all. This man don't match dogs. Damn, look at that shit. Okay, yeah, thank you. Look at that. Y'all remember that Lewis shit? Y'all remember that Lewis shit? Okay? Okay? I'm just saying. Stud dog. I don't know if he open for public stud, but he alive. Looking like his daddy. Old Dirt. Imagine that breeding right there. All he could do was just say, I'm going to breed to that dog. You stud, man, I'm going to go breed to that dog. Thinking nothing but the best for his shit. You go back here a little further, you're going to always see some shit that looks familiar. But it's way back there. I mean, it's way back there, but it's definitely going to take you back there to that Bates Bingo shit. Whole bunch of it. Whole bunch of Red Boy. Whole bunch of red boys. All down here. Look at here. We got Cadillac, Cherry. Look, see what I'm saying? Way back there, though. Way back there. Again, here we run back into that red boy shit. In and out. Way back there. But look how they doing it. You don't see no Cunningham's red man in there no damn where. You don't see it. That was the bottom. See that shit? That's the bottom. I'm going to take this red boy. That was the bottom right here. You see where it's going? I ain't got to go back too far, but it's way back there. But y'all see it. You see the dates. Beat to some of this shit now. Coming off of him. He knew what he was doing when he did this. Because I'm sure that Top Choice didn't have this dog. Believe that. Think about it. Boy, like one of y'all running around here ain't doing that, but I'm going to breed to him. He got the opportunity. Shit, he got the opportunity to do it. He did it. Because he know what he's sitting on over down here, all this bottom shit here. He went a whole new direction. A whole new direction. Playing in the same line. Of who? Red Boy. Who's the major factor that made this dog? Let's be real. It wasn't honey. Couldn't do it without her, but it wasn't honey. You can believe that. They're the money. You know, that's why you breed the shit like that. If you can. If you can. This is legendary making shit here. Because it came a long damn way. Everybody can't do that. And then still do this. And still do this. See what I'm saying? He way down here. Made a smart move to be able to put his name all up in that. He gonna be there. I'm just saying. We don't know who, when, and where, or what. We're just doing this for the part of the entertainment. Proving a point of what we do know. Only what we see. Know whose wins or where's, we don't know nothing. But we looking at what we see. Red man. He's bred a lot. He's a Tom Gardner's y'all. What y'all think? What you think Tom gonna do? Another one. Red man dog. Look how he bred. They're doing the same thing, don't it? Look at what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Look at what I'm saying. Look at what I'm saying. Come a long way. That's all I'm saying. Tell he ain't breeding him a lot. Everything is still on his yard. But you see what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Y'all know what I'm saying. I know y'all know what I'm saying. Can't get around that kind of shit, fellas. Like I said, we don't know if it's who in the wind, but it's the point of the entertainment, of the knowing. We know what we're looking at. Look at this shit. See this shit? pointing it out to y'all. I'm pointing shit out to you. Look at this shit. Y'all hear me talking about the dog? Y'all didn't hear me talking about the dog. Dog got 4 pages. Four pages. Champ breed in 2016. Just pages of the shit. But you see who's breeding to him. Nonstop, Pitt Island, Bailey, Gardner. You see what I'm saying? They ain't sleeping. Competition kennels. Them boys way up north. See what I'm saying? Those are the legacies. This kind of shit is the legacy. Y'all hear me talking about Casanova all the time. You hear me talking about you see the breedings and how they getting it. Look how they getting it. It's a smart move. And what's the common factor again? What are they still playing with? What are they still playing with back? Look at this. Y'all see it? This is for all those, what I call, them breedings y'all be doing out here. All, them ones planted all over Facebook. You ain't gonna catch these basement dwellers all on that shit. That's all I'm saying. Okay, because they ain't breeding shit like this. It's taking work. You can tell who's doing the work, fellas. Now, I'm not reading the chat. I hope somebody might go over there and read the chat. Because I'm pointing out things, because I did make a statement the other day about Red Boy being the pinnacle point of the dog game. Damn near like Earl Tudor's Diabo. Always making that point clear in the direction that line of dogs has been able to do so. We can have haters and non-believers and anything else you want to call them to disrespect this or rebuke my point. But it is what it is. Whether these dogs is truly bred like that, we wouldn't be talking about them if they wasn't worth a shit. So we just gonna go on the fact that whatever they bred, they can definitely line up and speak for itself. I'd be glad to put some papers on the motherfucker that's bad as shit. Throwing some shit. Okay, I'm gonna lie about some shit. Okay, he's talking about some badass shit. And why not? Why wouldn't it be? No wonder the dog is doing what it's doing. No wonder they got these kind of dogs out here right now. Because somebody's doing their homework, making smart moves. You see what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. Don't know who, when, or where. All in the point of making the entertainment over a point. Now, if you pay close attention, when I went there, you notice they keep playing and that red boy. And they keep throwing whatever they can. Oh, Tom, he didn't changed up. See, Tom did the smart thing. See, when Tom made him, he did something real smart. Something you would expect him to do, being he had Frisco. You know what I'm saying? So you really can't hate on Tom. He just does it, sells it, and let it be. He get back to it once it becomes something, because guess what? It's going to always have his name stamped on it. Always. Great dogs. Okay. Another one I'm going to speak on, and I'm going to bring up. Y'all going to hate me for it. But how can I talk about greatness and be able to say something about it and not be able to bring it up? You know, one of the greatest. And that would be between Barracuda and Grand Champion Lucan. Both of them was Grand Champions. You know, Lucan is going to always have the edge over Barracuda, even though Lucan didn't win as many matches as Barracuda. They both produced. Basically, Barracuda's bloodline is more prominent than Lucan's. Yet Lucan has, stepped himself into the record books of being one of the greatest. Just based on the fact that, that run of champions and all the way down there to Miss Luca. Look at all those grand champions. That's a history-making thing. Why I would be wrong not to bring that factor up. We got to bring that factor up. And then we got to go look at not only Lucan, but got Barracuda being Barracuda. Maybe didn't do what Lucan did, but another major factor in today's dogs. I'm just saying. Okay? That's all I'm saying. You're gonna find those dogs. We can do the same thing. Stone City, we grab their shit. Guess what we're gonna see? And you know why? Because it works in the same pattern. The same pattern that you see that they was doing with Trent Red Boy and the way they did that shit and produced that shit, you will see it in Lucan's breeding. They're the ones that made it. You're going to see it in Barracuda's breeding for the ones that made it. Okay? Let's go take a look. Let me go pull it up here right quick. Okay, there he is. There's no doubt that he produced some dogs. But as we get ready to step away, remember we see these pedigrees. This is old. This is old now. This is old. We already know what made him. That's him. That factor. You see the same old factor we just got done running up on back there on the Trent Red Boy in the now. You could breed the Casanova if you knew who he was. Can't breed the Lucan, he gone. So this dog right here, he's back there in the back like all those other dogs was. Another bunch of pages and pages of this shit. You see, when they're running them pages, look who the people who's breeding to him. Crenshaw, Miss Love, STP, Clean Mary. You ain't got you got White's Daniel, couple White Daniels, Payback. Look at that. And we just on page 1. 6 other damn more pages up here. STP Bobby Lou, Proud Mary. Look at old Cujo. We're going to look at Cujo. Look at Cujo. Yeah, y'all see you see the product? See how they did it? See how they was doing it? See that factor? That factor? It's like a repeat. Go to Stone City shit, you see the same shit. Go to Ms. Lucas shit, you're going to see the same thing. Moving forward. But it's the way they breed. Remember, I'm just grabbing the champions now. I'm just pointing out champions. And getting you to see there is a difference when you go breeding shit. And getting results. I don't know who One Love is. I have no idea. Because we all know Luke Kane, we all know Crash. But there's his opportunity to be part of history. You know what I'm saying? No Red Tide. Dude bought him a good one. Red Tide sold him a good one. One or the other, it happened. Okay? Now I'm going to hurry up just before I get into this too far. I'm just going to just jump to the major factor here. Cut the chase. Let's cut the chase. Remember now, these boys used to hate Mayday. Remember Twin, don't breathe that shit. Same people. The same people. Look what they sitting with. And look how it's bred. Look how that shit is bred. Look at that run. Hell of a run. But look how it's bred. Look at that bottom. Everybody was talking about that chance shit. There he is again. That hardcore chance. But you see it, right? See that bottom? Check out how they breeding it. Remember, anybody can breed a dog. But can everybody do this? You know what I'm saying? More basement stuff. Don't know who, when, and where. All we know is this here. And we just analyzing what we seeing. What's another major factor there? And we can always look at this one right here and I can say, y'all, I can go get some Stone City shit, just straight Stone City bred shit, and I can point out the same major factors. It's going to have Jeep. It's going to have Red Boy. It's going to have some buck in it, if that's Patrick's Tater in it. And it's going to have yellow, which is Red Boy anyway. So major factors, Patrick's Tater and Red Boy and Jeep. Same thing. This is Nico. Twisted. Same thing. Champion Twisted off of Mayday. Same thing. Jeep. Patrick's Tater and yellow. 3 different camps with great dogs. Factors, check the breeding. No, we didn't. We didn't do nothing no different. Not at all. No, I wasn't gonna stay on that long. I'm gonna go to Barracuda now, all right? Yeah, he bred. What's the major factor again? Red boy. I always talk shit about that lady Sassy Mead. You already know what I'm talking about when I'm talking about that. That taste of that Zebo line, that Lonzo line. Yeah. That Mayfield shit is the Jocko. That's all Jocko was, the Mayfield dog. The buck stops. You got a chance to ride out with Yellow. You know what I'm saying? Yellow John gave old Mayfield a historical ride. Historically speaking, it clicked majorly. Got him a good ride through history. Yes, he did. That's why you always hollering Jocko, not a major factor. I'm proving that point tonight already. I hope you'll see that. Let's go over here to Barracuda now. Look here. Another dog that does the same thing. You know, pages. 9 pages. 9 pages. Look at the people breeding to him. See what I'm saying? Look at the people breeding to him. So you know it must have been worth something. I jumped, page 8? You still got stuff out here. Where am I? This one? Oh yeah, that's Santa Fe champion. Yeah, that was off Barracuda. That's Grand Champion Mr. Mayday. There you go right there. Yeah, another producer. But look how he was bred. Now, could they produce? Could they produce? Big question, right? Let's see. Are we going to see any ongoing ROMs up in this list here? Everybody, you think we're going to see any ROMs up in this list? You see what I'm saying? But look who's breeding to him. There's Mr. Link. But where's the major? There's Latin boys. I hope y'all see my point. He produced. That he did. But I can guarantee you. Let me go find Mr. Mayday. Where's he at? I saw him just a second ago. Look at the bottom. Yeah. You see him? What's the major factor? Again, even in my position, major factors. What did I say they would be? Red boy G, yellow, Patrick Tater. The concept. Straight concept. Still gave him the big body. But that's it. Who was the factor? Who y'all think the factor was? I said, that's it. I forgot Miss Snake down there. Let me go back and get Miss Snake. I forgot Miss Snake down here, y'all. Yeah, I forgot her. Where I was trying to go was here. One more, I'm trying to find Gus. Gus was Orca. Same thing. You know I got to throw my shit in there. The combination's still the same. Still the same. Just showing y'all how I just followed the lead of everybody else. I knew how to play the pedigree like they was playing. Just pointing it out. What's the major factor? Same thing. Was it really Maximo or was it this bitch? You know what I'm saying? Try to find Orca right quick. I think Orca was the champion. Another son of Barracuda. Offspring. There was one more of these. Got baby being bred to Orca there. But there's a but just following the line on how they breeding. But if you notice, as all that breeding is being done, you still staying. There's a way they doing it. And if you can maintain the way they doing it, you're supposed to get those type of results. And I'm a witness to that. And can we do that with Eli dogs? Can we do that with, let's see, if we were to take one dog out here one dog out here and let's say, without using Tom Garner, without using any Red Boy, without using any Frisco, without using any one of those. Yeah, I thought I threw my paper in there, man.
I seen that paper on the floor, just behind the door.
Yeah, I put it in there. That's what I was saying. I think I put it in before I left. But yeah, come up with something other than them dogs. Somebody throw me a Pedigree out there. They ain't got no Red Boy. None. I mean, we can't have no Yellow. We can't have no Mayday. We can't have no Grand Champion Buck. We can't have none of those dogs. We can't have none of them. We ain't using nothing with Red Boy in it. As a matter of fact, we gonna take Frisco out the taking, and then because we already got all Eli out of him, we know Frisco. He a Tom Garner dog. We gonna take Tom out the equation because Tom's still around. He still got shit running around here. He was using Red Boy, using Frisco, now he's using Tramp Red Boy, and he's probably on some other shit too. You know how he is. He's gonna keep on selling dogs and buying them back. You know what I'm saying? So somewhere in there, you know, he's got his beepers on. Always have. So, but, you know, a Pedigree that ain't got none of them that we would call, you know, that line with a history. I mean, it's still, if it was in there, you would just be able to pull it right up because I don't know what suitcase I put it in, but I swear I put it in there. I swear. Well, I keeps it on me. I can go pull it up because I ain't got my phone. Yeah, but you know those things like you know I'm looking, I'm waiting. No, I seen that word. I seen deadlift down there. We can't even use deadlift either. Okay, hold on, y'all. There you go. It's a funny Pedigree, but here it is. This is what Mike was trying to help me find. That one. Long's Champion Gus. Another Barracuda dog bred the baby. That's right. Yeah, she had 4 champions off her. Now, if we were to click on Orchid, did he produce any champions other than Bebe? Let's see. We see Maximo didn't. You got a 2-time winner. So you got Maximo, you got Bebe going to Gus, Maximo, and Maytu. And she produced champions in every litter. Who was the major factor? You see what I'm saying? That Jeep, Red Boy, Patrick's Tater. And you know what I'm saying? Now, again, take all them main dogs right there out because we can go into Stone City and start pulling up Nico Jr., Grand Champion, Yellow Buck, and go through the same old routine and showing y'all. Then I can run over there to the hardcore and run through his shit. Then I can go down there to Triple M and show y'all he doing that shit with some Mayfield shit, run up through Mama's yard and showing you how he taking the same alligator shit, putting it back on top of his champion stubby shit, grand champion stubby stuff. You know what I'm saying? And it still be working. But if you take those particular dogs out, give me a stronger line. Give me something without using those dogs. See, those is what I always call those dogs legacy, because see, me personally, I'm gonna tell you, if you want to say, hey, Twin cheated, well, shit, I think Jamie cheated too. Jamie was doing he did exactly what I did. Did he not? He followed the game plans exactly like me. Prior to that, what was he winning with? Start knocking our heads to start touching that going hard shit. And I can start pointing out a whole bunch more going hard shit that was going other places doing the same thing Jamie shit was doing. Why? Because I stuck to the game plan, and going hard dog was still built like Stone City's yard, Hardcore's yard, Southern Kennels yard. You see what I'm saying? And in each one of those, you see where I was injected into everybody, because I was looking at they shit. If I'm gonna have some shit like they got and be able to do what they doing, I got to use they shit. You don't play no rocket scientist. I wasn't putting no papers together with all that shit. No, I'm going through that shit, making them breeders to see if I can see some shit that's doing what they shit doing. Can't go wrong. I am a living witness to tell y'all. Anybody can breed some papers together. If you ain't paying attention to what you're doing, you ain't doing nothing. You got to understand and face the point of what's the major factor that's going to make the point and make the difference. Out of all those dogs baby was bred to, go look at their shit and tell me what they was breeding after her. What did they get out of anybody else's shit? Nothing. So what was the major factor? It's clear to see. 3 different breedings. Then we go back to playing around that Maytu shit. When I bred Maytu back to Brat, that's damn near triple Mayday there. And damn got a daughter to produce the grand champion being bred right back into a dog off of Mayday. Red Ruby is damn near 4 times Mayday. She got Mayday damn near in all 4 generations. Her mother was off of Mayday. No, her mother was off of Maytu, who was off of Mayday, and Brat. He was double bred, and he was bred to Brat, his mama, to produce Madame. Then they took Madame and bred her to Graveyard, and Graveyard was off of Mayday. Sammy Graveyard was off of Mayday to produce her. If you tell me any other grand champion off of Mayday that's bred down off that line of dogs who got that off, other than all I can say is the best one with that much Mayday in it, I ain't found one. I did not find one. What was the major factor? What did Graveyard produce? Did he produce another grand champion like that? Let's go see. Mm-mm. You know, I'm speaking on the shit that I definitely know. You know what I know, as far as, you know, throwing up that information that's there to see. There go Graveyard. Game dog, rough dog, he can beat you short or he can beat you fast, he can beat you long. This is a bulldog, but look how he's bred. Look how he's bred. And let's keep in mind who Baby off of. Baby Daddy is the litter mate to this dog. Baby Daddy is the litter mate to this dog. I was baby bred back until Mayday dog. The same shit, just like you see this shit right here. And if you pay real good close attention, you look and baby in them pedigree, baby and mama gonna have this in their pedigree. Little sassy girl had that in her pedigree. That was the little gyp that we bred the little buck, Kennels brother. But you see that right now. Let's go look at his offspring. $31 of them. What's the only grand champion you see on that page? And all those other breedings. Look who he's breeding to. And then you got one down here. Oh, there she go. Y'all tell me, what's the major factor in that breed? Legacy shit. No true effects. Following what they doing, they following direction. This all following direction. Again, what I'm pointing out, when you're talking about legacy breedings, and we still on the yellow bus. We still on the yellow bus. You see how I took you back from the now and took you all the way back to the then? What did you see that related to the now? I'm only going to take you in a direction that I know. Now, I gave everybody else out there in the chat and those who see this video when it's not live anymore and you run across it, find me some legacy breedings that don't have Jeep, Patrick's Tater, Frisco, no Red Boy. And something worthy to talk about. It's going to be hard because those are the main dogs on that ROM list that is never going to change. And if you're not playing in those major ones right there, your name won't be up here in the now. Because it's a fact. I walked you all the way back just giving you snippets. Just snippets. I could have dived in some more of my shit and shown you how relevant my shit is in a bunch of shit. But I'm staying off of me. I'm just giving you a piece of me to show you how well I am a part of that. Major factors. Follow that direction because that's all I did. And anybody that followed that direction right along with me did the same thing I did, got what I got. And he ain't the only one. There's a couple more of those out there like that. And go back and go clicking on their shit and let's see what they produced. You're going to keep on asking yourself who was the major factor in those breedings. As I continue to point out, we give them a chance. Give them a chance. Good dogs. Definitely was bred to some good dogs. But without her, they couldn't produce shit. So what did that tell you? You know, there's much more I can say about that when we start talking about legacy. And can you continue it on? I can go diving into now and show you some on and some now. Some great breedings. Some great breedings with a whole bunch of that shit, but it's going to always continue. If I can go over and look at the growing hard dogs of the day, you know, and just the way they bred, they ain't mean bred like that shit of the old because it's the new. And there is dogs still out there of the old that's in the new. But again, who knows where, when, and who got it? We can pull it up. But it's out there for the research to find it. You know, I just gave you a snippet of what can still be coming. You know, and what we're speaking on now, when we start talking about legacies, because nobody likes talking. I mean, I'm always hearing Eli and Art and Bully Son. And I mean, these are old names. Where are the new Maydays? I said this last show. Today I just got a little in-depth with the legacy of what that means, why everybody's out here selling puppies. And why, you know, you got arguments with people who want papers and you got arguments with why people don't have papers. These are all issues that y'all have to deal with in the now. You have to damn near start taking the word of shit and really paying attention. It's just who you taking the word of and who you paying attention to. I showed y'all some dogs that's living today, whether you know it or not. You know what I'm saying? Dogs you back up to right now. Hey, what? There's a couple of those out there. You can't do it now and show me without those dogs, you know, what has been done and what can be done. You know, I hate even going back there in the back and saying, I can show you some shit that wasn't shit then and it ain't shit now. And still hanging around. And still ain't shit. I can show you some shit like that. But you got new dogs like you. But I said you take Red Boy out, you can't go get you can't get the bingo stuff. You can't get the St. Benedict stuff. You can't touch none of that. No, you can't touch none of that. That St. Benedict stuff, y'all, I'm trying to tell you. Maybe you can't touch no Red Boy. You go out there and tackle some of Fat Bill stuff, you might catch something that's got some type of legacy that's still doing great shit, and you know that we can see. We don't know if it's true. It's all fictional and all for the point of entertainment. So if you find it, let's present it. Yeah, there's a few great dogs now. You know, just lingering around out there. You know what I'm saying? But I'm talking about them bulldogs. You know, and how time has moved. Remember, they can't even go grab revenge in there. You know, you can see. You take a tab and take a look to see can they even touch it. And if they can't even touch that. You know, they can't even touch him. I'm telling you, Mama. I'm trying to give y'all some help, but y'all can't even touch him. See what I'm saying? You can't use it. It's Frisco. This shit already in the now. This shit here. This shit. See all this shit here? Look at this shit. See, y'all sleeping on these. Remember I said you can't use Frisco. I'm showing y'all some shit out here. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying though? But y'all can't use Frisco. Remember what I said? Nope. Y'all can't be using my shit. Can't be using my picks. Can't get no ups. Nah. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? Look at that shit. Stack out chocolate. Leader. Yeah. Out of there. But you see what I'm saying? Look at this. Y'all can't use none of this. Y'all can't use none of this. I said Frisco and Red Boy and Jeep. I said if you ain't using none of, you can't use none of them. Can't touch none of my stuff that I done went in here and gave y'all the show, showed y'all what was up. Since nobody couldn't help me bring up some shit, I'm pointing them out. I said the Red Boy stuff was the most prolific thing ever produced in the game. They are the the dogs of the day. Then I sat there and then I showed you. Then I sat there and said, if you take out all those top dogs that I just gave you, Red Boy, G, Frisco, come on, and Tater. I'm even giving y'all a chance to even play with some of that bowly, y'all. Can't use Tater. Somebody got one? I got a number. I can use it. Just point it out. We got a taker? We got a taker, Jimmy? We got a taker. Okay, let's see some. Hold on. 73 777 1. Okay, here we go. It's Win Mew. That McCullum shit. Hold on now, let me see. Oh yeah, this is it right here. Yeah, we got one. Check out the way they breeding it. Check out the way they breeding it. Nigga Renegade. And there go Rennie. There go my girl Rennie. Yeah, that's her. And that's Rennie right there. But no, that ain't my Rennie. Because Wade's Rennie was a 2-time winner. No, that ain't her. She was off a Renegade, but that ain't her. Mm-hmm. You Greasy Corny Kid, Spanky. Renegade was a hell of a producer too, y'all. But you notice, here's the thing. Hold on, let me get this one thing right off right quick. Let's see if she's on here. There she goes. This is the dog I know. I actually took this picture, y'all. I'm letting y'all know now. I took this picture of Rennie. But look how she's bred. And she was a good one. I think she produced one when they bred her to Champion Tate. But look, she made some good breedings. Look at this stuff what's coming off of her. See, yeah, coming off of Tate.
Way to go, Windmill.
Way to go, Windmill. You took me on a ride, baby. Yeah, you see I ran back there where you was taking me. I had to take him back there where that Cujo stuff was headed. You know? Look, he was even crossing his shit with the Red Boy snooty shit and was getting shit. He got 2 out of 1 litter. Both of them, and that's Tar Heel Matt shit there. Dome was catching hell, wasn't he? That dorm area, boy, I thought you would have been playing up in there. Yes, sir. Seemed like that was a chop spot.
That's North Carolina right there, boy.
That's that Carolina shit right there. North Carolina shit right there. All that. Now, y'all got to understand who McCullum is. This is his yard. Know what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? That's an ancestor. That's an ancestor. See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? That's Randy there, though. That's the one. What's the name you were talking about? Triple M. But look how they bred. The whole backside.
Hey, Viking, I couldn't pull it up because I ain't got the number. Need one with the number.
You need one with the number, Viking. We got us a winner here so far. We'll put that up there. Windmill. That was a good one. But let's check out the offspring. See how they bred it. Can't use this one. Oh, yes, we can. Nope. Can we? Let's see. See that P4D. Oh, can't use it. Red boy.
Can't use it.
Can't use that one, windmill. Look, he died in some red boy windmill. Windmill, I told you couldn't dive in no red boy now.
Bailey's bingo and that stomping out.
All that,
that's new shit. That's some of the new
you
shit.
You see that shit right there? You see him right there. We just left him. You know we just seen him.
He just helped prove the point.
Offspring. I'm going to take you to one. Right there. Yeah. You can't play with him, see? You know him. More pages. See, they were doing the same thing. They were doing something smart. See that? Yeah, they did the move. They took and they bred. They stuck to that McCullum star. Yeah, that's one right there. That's a one-time winner. Let's see if we see any more. But they got one. Got a winner and a loser there. Got a two-time winner right here. One-time winner right there. One-time winner right there. I mean, for $22, that's not bad, especially coming off of him siren in the 9. He got to be still alive. Ain't been bred much. You can see that. Look. See, he brings some more red boy stuff, I bet you. What'd I tell you? Champion. Another dog wasn't bred much. That's a litter. Right now, you see what I'm saying? Can't do it without the red boy. If you can't do it without the red boy. Now, he definitely took me to one. He took me this one right here. He died in 2024. But before he died,